Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to another client interview. I've got a lot more of these ones lined up, so they're going to be on the way. But in this video, I interview Ryan Mack, who is also a fellow YouTuber in the SMMA space. You may have heard of him before. His channel will be linked in the description. But Ryan joined us back, so now it's February when I'm recording this, right? Ryan joined us on October the 7th, and by the middle of December, he was making $10,000 a month. He started doing $1,000 a month with one client, and he joined us because he couldn't get any more clients. He had the sort of foundations of the business. He'd been through a couple of courses to start, but he just couldn't grow. So he came on board and, basically fast forward 2 months, he went from 1 grand a month to 10 grand a month. And in this video, he basically explains how he did it, how he used our program, and also the dark side of making that money and why it might not actually be like the best thing in the world. Basically, everything is revealed in the video. Ryan's a great guy. He's really cool. I love him to bits. And I'm hoping that you can derive some value from this interview. Now, obviously, the intention of me making these videos is to help you, but with this one specifically, it's to actually introduce our program to you and potentially sell it to you. So there will be a link that you can click in the description that goes to a sales funnel that will ask you to book a call. I don't care if you click it or not. You don't have to, but ultimately, if you do want to grow your agency and you're struggling and you want more clients, then you can click it. All right. And it's a funnel. It's designed to sell you something for full transparency. I don't mind if you click it or not. But without further ado, let's hop into the interview. I hope you enjoy it and I will see you soon. Have a good day. All right, everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to another client interview. I don't get bored of doing these. I love them to bits. And today I have the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan with me. Ryan's a client of mine who's been working with me. So now is February. Ryan started in October. And by December, by Christmas time, you were making $10,000 a month in your agency, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, Ryan went from 1K a month to 10K a month, or $10,600 a month to be precise, in about 60 days using the program, which is pretty cool. So we're interviewing him to find out what happened. But Ryan, why don't you just take a second to introduce yourself and just, who you are, what niche you're in, etc., etc.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my name is Ryan. I have been running a YouTube ads agency in the info product space. I was kind of dabbling around in like other services before I started. I think I was in content creation, but where I really started to scale was with YouTube ads, info products. And I, documented a little bit online on my channel and stuff. But yeah, so that's basically what I've been doing. I also do like a little bit of funnel building for my clients. I think that's what made, some of the sales a little bit easier. It's like when you convince people that you can actually help them like get the results as opposed to just running ads for them. So yeah, that's what I've been doing pretty much since then.
Cool, amazing. So what we're going to do here, just so everyone's aware of the structure, is we'll take a look at sort of like where you were, where you are, what the future looks like. But before we go into any of that sort of like last 2 months timeline, what I'd like to know is why you started in the first place. What were you doing before you actually started your agency, before you signed your first client and came on board with us?
Yeah, that's funny because you can literally see exactly what I was doing before that, because I was doing nothing on YouTube. I was trying to grow like a personal brand, but with like nothing to back it up, right? I was talking about like some like personal development stuff, and yeah, I had like 400 subs for like over 8 months of work, which was pretty embarrassing. And I realized like I was on that whole journey of entrepreneurship and whatever, but I had nothing to show for it because I actually moved out from I left my hometown or my home city, moved like to the middle of nowhere. I was like, okay, I was like in that, I was gonna do that like whole like grind
Monk
here,
mode
right?
thing. Yeah.
But yeah. But I was like 4 months in, I had a YouTube channel with 400 subs and no money coming in besides like my day job, obviously. But it was I felt like shit. So I was like, am I allowed to cuss on these
Yeah,
interviews, by the
mate,
way?
go for it. Yeah, you go for it,
Okay.
man. It's fine.
um yeah, so and then like in the middle of that, like August, I was like, okay, dude, I gotta start making money, right? Otherwise, like, what am I doing? So then that's when I got like my first clients. That first video like actually kind of popped off on my channel. I was like, let's just talk about SMMA, and then like it's like my biggest video by far now.
Cool.
But the thing is, I was doing nothing literally. I wanted to do something with my life, but YouTube wasn't
Yeah.
cutting it for me at the time.
Yeah, just for context, Ryan actually has a YouTube channel where he sort of documents his SMMA journey. It will be linked in the description, so you guys can go and have a look at that one. So you had nine, like, was it 9 to 5 job? What were you doing work wise?
Yeah, I was working at a bank. I was in like, I studied accounting, finance. So I was like in that route doing like auditing stuff. It was
Hmm.
actually IT audit. It's probably one of the most boring jobs you could think of, but it paid well. The hours were super chill. And like, I knew it was gonna give me the time to work on something else on the side.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
So the agency was
No.
like almost a way to escape the 9 to 5 and sort of like build something for yourself, I suppose.
Yeah. Like literally everything I did up until now was for that objective. It's just that none of them works before, right? I was doing drop shipping and shit back in like
Ah, you've
2020, like
tried the
everyone
drop.
else.
Everyone's tried.
Everyone's drop shipping.
Dude, I swear
Every
everyone tries drop shipping and then they run into a
Yeah.
Facebook ad account restriction and then they just go to SMMA because
That's
that's usually
exactly
what
what
happens.
happened. Yeah. Yeah. My personal account's restricted on Facebook. Like it's the exact everyone that does like SMA on YouTube, especially, they all have the same story. It's
Yeah,
pretty funny.
it's pretty common, man. So okay, so fast. So go back a bit in time a bit. So you had one client. You booked a call to talk to us to look at the program. What was it that motivated you to book the call, and why did you make the decision to buy it?
Um It's a good question. Like, and I was talking to you about this earlier, but like,
Mm, mm.
there was there was no like. I remember when I was like on the sales call with you guys, and you're like, why do you need to do like you have to go through the whole process. Like, why do you want to do this now, right? Like, what's the
Yeah.
motivation? I was like, I don't know. Like, I did because I was still at that. I guess there was a strong motivation, right? I spent 2 months like without getting a second clients, which is obviously a big pain point for me.
Yeah.
But the big problem for me, the weird thing for me was like I had actually joined another program like
Mm,
1 month before I joined you guys, but I was like I want to do things faster, right? So then I was like,
mm.
and I was just looking for the best program out there. I was watching your channel for like at least probably like a few months at this point, like probably 1 or 2 months, and you see, I mean, it's very easy to tell when someone is, at least for me, it's very easy to tell when someone's like actually trustworthy on YouTube.
Ah,
Um,
wow. I try.
but
I appreciate that.
like I think it's easy to tell like when you've been in this space for a while. You're like, okay, yeah, this guy's like, he's not pulling shit as ass,
Yeah, I
he's not
think
copy
like you,
pasting
you sort of,
content, right?
especially if you've been burned before, you sort of get this.
Yeah, yeah.
You can just see straight through the bullshit, which is a pretty useful skill to have. So basically you had one client, but it had been like 2 months and you were sort of plateaued and you were sort of like struggling to get more, which is why you joined. That makes sense. So what the hell happened in the 2 months between you joining and getting 10 grand a month? Like what did you do? What parts of the program did you use? Like if you could share that I'm sure that'd be useful for everyone to know like what steps you took.
Yeah, I'm like, so I mean, one thing I want to put out there is like there is a lot in the program, right? And
Mm,
especially the newer version of it. But like even before, it was like there was so much stuff. I don't think I used even more than like 20% of it.
that's
But
pretty common.
I think,
Yeah.
but like I think the thing that actually helped me the most, obviously, like the content was really good.
Mm,
I think it literally has everything you need to
mm,
really build an agency. But I think what really helped the most for me to get those results was just having that the support, right? Like the coaching aspect of the program, where you
yeah.
like I think I don't. I mean, you've probably been through your fair share of programs, but like most programs that have like a Facebook group, or like a school group or whatever, especially Facebook groups, like they're not active, right? They're very like they say that it's like a
Yeah.
coaching program where they support you, but they don't like it's you see like 10, 20 posts a day, and then maybe like one question gets answered. You guys like literally address every single question in detail, and like you actually provide coaching on every single like for every single student that
This is
shows
a
up, which is pretty crazy.
this is a really good point, and it's we've had this feedback a couple of times before, but usually everyone's so content focused that it doesn't get brought up. But dude, like we have like this rule at the company, like if a support ticket, like we can't if it's been more than 12 hours and it hasn't got an answer, like I'm flipping my shit. I'm like I'm like, what is going on? Like, why has this not been answered? But also with Easy Grow, we're introducing more calls as well to like improve that amount of stuff that we do. So that's actually really good to hear. I haven't thought about it that way before, but I guess to be fair, I don't really check the Facebook groups of the program. So, but I'm glad you found it useful. So, what was the thing that got you to 10 grand a month then? Because obviously, like the coaching's great and having questions answered, but did you use the cold email system? Was it the cold calling thing, cold messaging thing? Did you use the sales script, the mindset stuff? What exactly did you use?
So let me think about this, because
Mm,
I actually didn't pull like these specific too much specific content program. Like I actually didn't use like the loom system that much, although I know it like works because I've seen it work for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But like I just went like, I think it was more of a mindset thing, and like I
Mm.
think the focus on it was, I think it was the approach, because I was doing cold email, right? I was just doing plain text cold email. And I think it was like these minor things here and there, like how do you get people to show up for appointments, like the
Mm.
follow-up systems, and just like also the service delivery systems, like a lot of the like just it's like that peace of mind knowing you can scale because you have the right things in place, right? Like even
Yeah.
just like having the right payment processor or payment
Just the right,
the
just
invoice,
the right
like
onboarding
just the right
funnel.
thing in place,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
onboarding systems, just like knowing you can like bring like when it's that thing, I think you mentioned this probably somewhere, but
Mm.
you know, when you're at the end of a sales call and the client's like, okay, like, okay, how do we like get started, or like what does it look like when we work with you? I'm like, I can literally say this, and then
Yeah.
like they're like, okay, cool, let's do it, right? And that makes a huge difference. Just knowing you
Mm.
have in your back pocket like this process you're going to bring the client through. And I think that allowed me to just go like, you know, basically automate my outreach and like, you know, pump out as much pump out as much outreach as possible, because I knew that, you know, once I get people on sales calls, like I'm gonna get someone like to be a client, and then
Yeah.
I just cranked it up, and my conversion rates are pretty good. I think I think the success for my email actually came from like um it probably came from your YouTube videos. Actually, it's just the mindset of like just being unique and like,
Mm.
you know, standing out, and then you probably iterated on that in the program as well, which is like,
Yeah.
you know, just don't copy the shit that I'm giving you, right? Like
Just
actually
don't
like
copy. It's like copy and
like
paste is
I
just copy and waste, man. Like,
exactly. And like it's
make a
something I
mistake.
like try to tell people on my YouTube channel too. It's like, dude, like don't like I'm not gonna give you a
Well,
script. Charlie's not gonna give you a script because it's not gonna work,
we
right? If
have
you
it.
just
We
take it.
have this as like a rule in Easy Grow, the new program, and like, you know, we've got like 11 different systems for acquisition. I'm sure you've probably been through some of them, or you're watching some of it as well. But you've probably heard me say more than once in Easy Grow in the first video, like, don't copy, like, and I just keep repeating that over
Yeah.
and over again, because like it's the biggest mistake people make, because if you don't understand like the thinking or the engineering behind the the system, then if it breaks, you're fucked. So everyone just tries, like, they think, oh, if I just had like the right piece of email copy or something, they think they'd be fine. But yeah, so I hear you there. So, dude, here's the thing though. So you're at 10 grand a month now. You sort of hovering up, and you know, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on like your service delivery and how many clients you have. But now you're at that sort of six-figure run rate on average. Like, let's talk about now. So you've gone from doing sort of $1,000 a month and struggling to get clients to, you know, sort of 10 grand a month, that six-figure mark. And, you know, now you've got a routine, sort of predictable system of getting people in, and you're working on service delivery. How does it feel to actually be at six figures? Because you don't strike me as a massively emotional person when it comes to money. Now, I might be completely wrong there, because you mentioned earlier you didn't have like a huge why or motivation, but like, has it changed your life much, or are you sort of living a similar life? How does it feel?
Um I mean, the short answer is my life hasn't really changed at all. Like if anything, like
Okay.
I feel more stressed than before.
Okay.
But it's like that mindset of like when you realize, because I guess once, because now that I quit my job too, there's like no safety net, right? So then I look
Mm.
around, I'm also networking with a lot of like other successful entrepreneurs like close to my age, and it's like you realize how little 10K is, right? And
That's the problem,
and I
dude.
think
As soon as you get to 10 grand a month, you think, oh, that's not much, is it? Fuck. But like you see it as this sort of like be all end all goal that you put on a pedestal. But as soon as you achieve it, you're like, you realize that really it isn't much at all, which is hard to believe for people who haven't got it yet. But sorry, carry on.
yeah. Yeah, and like, but like 100%, right? And I think I guess the biggest reason is like, I now that I know where I want to go with the agency, or just with like business in general, I know like I need to hire like, you know, really good people. I need to like, you know,
Mm.
pay for a lot of things. Um, and even just like living in a nicer place, right? All that kind of stuff. And it's all for that purpose of like, you know, how can it become more effective and like build a better business? And you realize this stuff doesn't come cheap, right? Like just
Mm.
to have all these things. So like 10K a month is like, okay, I need, because I think another thing that people kind of don't tell you on like YouTube and stuff when it comes to like, oh, how to get like 5 clients or 10K per month, it's very easy to get a 10K per month if you just like spam like like one specific like system, right? Like if you have like a cold email system that books you like 2% meetings,
Mm.
like it has a 2% booking rate. You can spam that and get 10K per month. But then like after that, it's like, okay, like shit, like how do I, it's very hard to get to 20K per month if you didn't have the right systems to get to that 10K per month.
Yeah.
So and like I kind of made that mistake. It's like, okay, like I signed all these clients, I just offered to like, I just kind of like made like custom offers, and then like now my service deliveries all over the place. So I think a lot of people can run into that mistake. It's like, and that's why it's really easy for like maybe some other programs to like promise like 1 or 2 or 3 clients, but they don't teach you like how to like sustainably build a business, right? And so I think for me, I think that's where a lot of the stress is coming from, and I don't feel like I really have a proper business yet until I have that, like, that full back end
Yeah.
in place. But
I hear you.
yeah,
One of the
emotionally,
first,
like,
yeah, go on. Sorry.
go ahead. What was I gonna say?
You were saying
Yeah,
emotionally.
emotionally it hasn't really changed much. I think like I don't feel like I've really reached where I want to be yet, because
Mm.
yeah, it doesn't feel like 10K per month. It's more like, okay, I have like the money like coming in and out. But another thing is I'm still paying off, like I pay for so many programs. I'm still like paying those off in these last 2 months. So like it doesn't feel like I even have the money yet.
Yeah, I hear you. I think it's like people expect 10K a month to be this sort of like glorious experience. And I think when
Yeah.
you hit it, it is for about a week. But then you
Yeah.
realize, shit, I've made all this mess. I've got to clean it all up. Because it is, you have to
Yeah,
sort of get,
exactly.
messy with it and sort of, pull your sleeves up and sort of you create a messy business essentially. And then you get 10 grand and you think, oh shit, like I'm working way too many hours and it's just chaos and stuff like that. So it's actually quite refreshing to hear you say that, because most people glorify it when in reality it is like, I'd rather be stressed out making 10 grand a month than work a job that I hate. But at the same time, it's not all people make it out to be. If that makes sense. Especially if you haven't got good foundations in place, which is a good thing to know. So what's the next thing you want to do? Because you've talked a little bit about the future in terms of hiring people, but what is the next goal for you, like 6, 12 months from now? Where do you see your agency going?
Yeah. So I mean, I remember like the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, I want to hit 50K a month, right, with my
Mm.
agency by the end of the year. But I was like, I kind of sat there. I was like, that seems very realistic to me. I want to aim for like 100K a month, right? I don't think I'm going to hit it necessarily, but I think like I want to, at least set that goal for myself. And
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, I think it's also like because I surround myself with and just join all these programs, get a lot of this mentorship and stuff, you realize it's very possible to hit these numbers, to like,
Yeah.
because getting from 0 to 10K a month is a lot harder than getting from 10K to like, maybe 20, 30, 50K a month, just because what needs to be done at this point.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, that's probably just gonna be my goal, like 50 to 100K a month, which, you know, may sound crazy to some people, but like I think it's very realistic if I
Yeah.
just do what
I
I need
think
to
it's
do.
like
But
you'll find as well, once you hit like 50, you have the same mental paradox where it's like, oh, this isn't much. Like, shit. Like, oh, now I've got all this mess again. So it's like, it's just like
yeah,
you level up. Like, I remember when I think back to when I started, like, 7 or 8 years ago now, if you told me like, oh yeah, hey Charlie, when you're like 24, you're going to be doing like 20 grand a day, I'd be like, no, there's no chance. But then when you do it, it's like, oh, this doesn't seem like much money. So it's such a strange like paradox. But I hear you, man. So one question I ask everyone on these interviews is, if you were thinking about buying this thing but you're on the fence, what would you say to yourself knowing what you know now and having been through the program?
yeah. Well, I don't think I'm the right person to talk to, because like I was already sold on investing in myself at the beginning,
Mm.
because I kind of been through this journey before, right? Like, e-commerce, all that kind of shit. But
The
for someone,
drop
yeah,
shipping backstory.
yeah,
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 yeah. We've been burned by 10K programs. We've, had failed, like we failed in everything possible. So I know what that journey is like. But
yeah,
yeah, for someone who's like maybe new to business, new to SMMA, I'm just, starting for the first time. Um, I mean, I think you can make this very clear too, which is like, this isn't for complete beginners, right? Like
yeah, exactly.
it definitely works for beginners, like, but if you're not even in the mindset to like build a proper business yet, like this isn't
Yeah.
for you, right?
Well, this is the
Because
thing.
there's
Like,
a yeah.
I spoke to Eric, because you're totally right. Because I spoke to Eric Kavlas, who's another person I interviewed before you about an hour ago, and he went from 0 to 30K a month in 5 months, and he was saying like, don't do it if you're not willing to work really bloody hard. Because it's like, I'll be
100%.
transparent with everyone. Like, you know, if you hop into the program, but you're not willing to like give your heart and soul to it, then don't bother. Because like, you know, it's something that people seem to think is going to be like this easy walk in the park, but we all know full well that it's not. But then everyone seems to say that it is, and then they try and do it, and their expectations are set completely incorrect. Sorry, but I did interrupt you. I don't know if you can remember what you were saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree with that, right? Like all the stuff, like especially the mindset stuff, like it's very important. It's very true. You need to know this stuff. But the thing is, I knew most of that stuff already because it took me like 2 years of like killing myself to actually like learn it the hard way, right? So,
Yeah.
but like if you don't do that, then like you can do it in like 2 to 3 months. But again, you're gonna have to work your ass off just to even like put yourself in the right state to
Exactly.
start using the course.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're like you got a couple of clients, or you're like you really know you're ready to go hard on your business, then yeah, I think literally gives you all the tools you need, right?
Yeah.
I think like you guys hold nothing back. That's a given. Like especially the client acquisition, like especially with Easy Grow now, right?
Yeah, we didn't fuck around with
Like
Easy
I
Grow.
don't there's literally nothing left you could add to the client acquisition side of things. I don't think
Well,
there's like
you wait and see. We're gonna try and add more to it,
yeah,
yeah,
like I'm sure there's more, but like just like if you want to get to 10K per month, there's like 5 different ways to do it, right? In your program, like
yeah.
and like probably way beyond 10K per month, of course. But like yeah, I think, and I think again, like it's just one of those complete programs where it's like, obviously you don't focus because you can't really do service delivery that in that detail because like
Yeah, so this is one
everyone's
thing.
service delivery is different.
This
So
is one thing that we've always had is like, you know, when there's like 30, 40 different niches, like we've got a service delivery module, but it has to be evergreen. So it has to walk through like the foundations and everything. So anyone who hops in, like, just for transparency, we don't have like, here are the ads you use for real estate, because we can't do that because we're not in that niche. But what we can do is we can walk you through the frameworks of what create good ads, and then you have to sort of think. So it's kind of goes back to what we said earlier, like it's not a copy and paste thing. You know, it's like there's literally a program in this space called copy paste agency, which, you know, in my opinion is like not the right way to do it, but ultimately, yeah. So I appreciate that. So you want to get to 100 grand a month next, and you want to try and do that by the end of the year, which would be, well, I'd be open to doing another interview if that was the case. But mate, honestly, I think it's a very inspiring journey. I think that you've done something that a lot of people dream to do. And I also think it's important to know that whilst you did it in 2 months, you're sat on 2 years of experience. Because this is the important thing that people miss, is like, you've been through hell and back for 2 years, and you've got your mindset and your work ethic built up to the point that all you needed was the right information. And then when you had that, like, boom, you just sort of flew. So I think that's important to know. But mate, I mean, that's an amazing story. Do you have anything else you want to share, or you can maybe plug your YouTube channel for a second, and then we can call it a day?
Not too much I want to share. I mean, it's actually, I guess the message I do want to share is like probably what I already talk about on my channel, which is like, it's like it's very, this business model is very like simple, right? But it's just those small little details that like it's because I get a lot of beginners, right, in my own community, like asking like all these basic questions, because there's all these small things you have to get together before you can even like start working, like doing the work as an entrepreneur. But like I think this program will give you like 80 to 90% of it. But you gotta work your ass off, right?
Oh yeah.
Like no matter no course or program or coaching is gonna save your ass if you don't like just put in as much work as possible.
Exactly.
Do you know?
my sister just walked into the frame. Anyway, right, we'll call it there because she probably wants me to go and do something. But anyways, guys, so Ryan's YouTube link will be in the description. Go and check it out, subscribe and everything. And this is the part where I just gently plug what we do. If you do resonate with Ryan's story, or you want a way of getting more clients, or you just want to grow your agency, you can click the first link in the description. It's a sales funnel. It's designed to sell you something. You can check it out if you want to. I don't really mind if you click it or not, but might change your life, as we did with Ryan, for example. So, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you as well. And really looking forward to see what you do with like Easy Grow. Very, very exciting stuff. And congratulations on the launch.
Nice one, brother. Talk to you later. Cheers.
Yeah, you too. Take care.